So you've shipped your products from China, for instance, into Australia, and they've arrived at customs. Now, what the heck happens from that point onwards? How long will it take you to get up and running and selling in your Amazon or e-commerce store? In this video, we're going to walk you through exactly what happens from customs into the warehouses or wherever it is you're using to ship your products from. Now, if you like this kind of information, where we're giving you unique insights into how an Amazon FBA business works, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. That way we'll know that you want more information like this. And if you've got any comments or feedback, comment below and I'll answer them personally for you. And you might want to consider as well subscribing to my YouTube channel, because we post brand new money-making information just like this each and every day. All right, with that being said, let's get into it.
Pure and simple, Australia's not as bad as, say, the US or UK, right? But let's just say, because a lot of your people ship to America, and that's the biggest market. But just say these are the scenarios that can happen. I'm not saying it's all going to happen to your shipment all at once or consecutively, but it can. You'd be really unlucky, but shit happens. So stuff leaving China actually, you hear in the news that about LA ports and American ports fully congested, major delays. China's actually got a bigger problem than the States with the pile up of ships waiting to get into China, because we've got new COVID measurements we've had in place now for a little while, not too long, but a little while. So ships are taking longer to actually get to port because they have to pass COVID tests and blah, blah, blah. All right. We've got containers, ships backing up. All right. So it's taking longer to get the ships in. And then with all the congestion, it's taking longer to get the ships out. So, you could be waiting, you could have a 2-week lead time from when your products not get picked up from the factory, but when your products hit the forwarder's warehouse to actually when they get shipped out, when they actually leave China's port. Jesus. And that can be a lot of, yeah. Well, there's no containers, there's lack of vessels, shipments get cancelled just like that on the spot with no notice, because the inbound ship is late. It can get held up for 3 or 4 days or 5 days. So that shipment gets cancelled, then it jumps to the next shipment, which then creates more congestion, which then creates more time delay and more cost increase. So getting out of China isn't as easy as what it used to be. So I'm not saying it will be and every shipment's the same, but it could be a 2-week window to get it out of China at, say, the worst case scenario at the moment. If a port closes, well, get the crystal ball out, because who knows? Yantian port closed a couple of times a few months ago. That put us behind like 5 weeks or more than 5 weeks on some shipments, and prices were going up. Like, you miss this shipment, the next shipment, the price went up $1,000, and then miss that one, it gone up $2,000. It's just horrendous what happened. So that's one. Then it sails. Ships can wait in port. They can arrive at port and can wait at port for 2 weeks before they can dock. So getting to port doesn't mean it's actually on the dock. All right. So it can arrive at port, yippee yahoo, but it can stay there anchored for 2 weeks. Maybe more, maybe less. It varies. There's no benchmark. Every shipment is different. We actually have a shipment, a whole ship, right, that is 37 days delayed to port. 37 days. I've never seen a shipment that late, and it's still not in the States yet, because there's so much congestion. They're just slowing that ship down and almost to a standstill. Right? So it's 37 days late to port. Then when the ship gets to port, it could be 2 weeks before it gets to anchor. Sorry, could be 2 weeks before it gets to dock. Then you can have a 9 to 15 day delay for the container to be, for the ship to be unloaded on top of your 2 week delay. Then once it's cleared customs, or we may even, a lot of times we get pre-clearance, before it even gets to port. But just say it gets unloaded, right? It can be 7 to 15 or 16 days before we can actually pick the container up off the port, right? Because they won't give us, you've got to get an appointment to go and pick up a container. They won't give you an appointment because they don't have manpower to move them, or they have been for a few months. They've been moving containers into closed zones, right, for safety, because the ports have got too many containers on. So they go into a closed zone, so no trucks can go in there, and that. Now, we did have a shipment, a whole 40-foot container, high cube, got stuck in one of those zones for 2 months. That's extreme. And I'm not one to scare the shit out of everyone, but when you ask,
and yet you're doing a great job.
don't stop selling. But these are just the things that can and do go wrong. Okay, so then we'll pick it up from port. Now it could be a couple of days. Everything could run smooth, but these are the things that have been happening. And some customers have had everything happen to them, which I feel sorry for them. And then if it's going to Amazon, Amazon can take 2 weeks to give us an appointment. So it's a bit of a shit show at the moment.
It is a shit show.
Yeah. But that's just how it is. And we're constantly onto it. We try and do our best to get information, which is really, like pulling teeth from a dinosaur. It's hard. And Americans, the shipping industry in America is worse than talking to the Chinese. They just don't communicate with you. There's no truck drivers in the States. No one wants to work. Long haul, if you've got a container going from point A to a long destination, it's not impossible, but it's almost impossible to get a driver that'll do a long haul ship container shipping now, because they earn too much money doing the short haul stuff. No one wants to do the long haul stuff, and there's not enough. There's not enough couriers. UPS or FedEx, DHL, they're just out of control. Have been for a year. They're just going from bad to worse. So there are a lot of stumbling blocks. We can't get answers quickly, and we can't get concise answers a lot of the time either. And a lot of it is waiting and frustration. We have 3 more people to do the same work we were doing 2 years ago, and we still get less done because of all the follow-up, of all the delays, of all the cost increases because of a delay. It's just constant now, honestly.
If I could offer one little glimmer of hope within the shit show that is currently going on, it would be this. And Shane's right, it is a shit show at the minute, but it's a shit show for everybody. It's a shit show for everybody. So the thing what you don't want to find yourself in is an uneven playing field where you are disadvantaged. That's what you don't want. You want an uneven playing field, but you want the advantage. Okay. What you don't want is to find yourself disadvantaged. And the good thing about shipping and global logistics currently is that it's a shit show for everybody, not just for you and I, but for, for all the big boys as well that are playing in this game. Like, everyone's in the same boat. So take solace from that. And I think as well, the other thing what's interesting to note is that because it is a shit show, because freight is going up so much and because freight is so expensive, it's actually taking a lot of the traditional Chinese competitors out of the market. They are
Yep.
not going into and shipping their own stock over. So the competitive field is getting thinned out as a result of that, because the margins just aren't there for a lot of sellers. So that's also something to consider as well. And the third thing I would say is this. Typically within anything that is seemingly difficult to do lies opportunity. So whenever something's hard to do, it usually puts off a lot of people, and you kind of want that. You kind of want it to put a lot of people off, because you want them to, again, you don't want the competition. And so when things are difficult, it thins the herd even more. And those folks that are persistent and just will take on somebody like Shano to get this done for them properly, they're the people who are going to set themselves up for success next year and the year after that. So there's a glimmer of hope within all this shit show. But as Shane has rightly said, it is a bit of a shit show right now, but it won't be forever. It won't last. Probably by mid next year, Shane, what do you reckon? It'd be kind of, if things kind of go the way they're going, we're back to normal, or normal.
Yeah, it won't be. Yeah, it won't be before mid next year, because we've got the China New Year scenario happening, and that'll linger for a few months after, before it starts to recover a little bit. And if things don't get worse and we don't have COVID spikes, or if the global situation improves, we should start seeing. It'll never get back to normal, to what it used to be 2 years ago. We'll never ever see that. We'll never see it back a year ago. So shipping rates are going to stay high, but that's going to be, like you said, now for everyone, right? And the consumers are just going to have to suck that up eventually. But these, at the moment, these are unprecedented peaks in costing that we have never ever experienced before. And unfortunately, the worst, we haven't seen the worst of it yet. There's still going to be a few more peaks. And if you're looking at stock, you really want to be. China New Year, China almost shuts down for 3 weeks, but the impact can last for, can have a 4 or 5 week impact, pre-production, post-production, because all the componentry, lack of people. It's not a matter of the factory closes and then it opens again in 3 weeks, maybe, or 2 weeks. It's all the components and then the staffing and winding back up. It takes them a while to wind back up, and that could lag for a couple of months. So, try and, if you possibly can, preempt, even look, the thing that all this has brought about is people now have to project even further with their businesses than what they used to, because everything was a lot quicker. So the strain on cash flows is greater, but you've got to be smarter, and you've got to plan even further ahead now. Try and get your inventory sorted, your manufacturing sorted. Try not to be manufacturing goods just before China New Year, because you'll end up with a heap of crap, predominantly. They'll be working 24/7 if they can, if the government lets them. And they'll just be pumping out these little cookies and no one's looking at them. I don't know if they put grapes in the sultana in the date cookies or not. They're just going to make them. So that's sort of a dangerous time to be ordering. So try and get it in advance. And you're looking 45, 50 days shipping these days.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky.
So just to put that in context for you.
That was bad.
Yeah. So as Shane says, 45, 50 day shippings, it was 30, 33 days shipping. Okay. So in real terms, it's added 50% on, but that's, 15, 16 days. So in actual terms. And as Shane says, like, Australia is nowhere near as bad as the UK, which is a fucking shit show, and the USA as well. So it's nowhere near as bad. So another good reason to, do the Aussie marketplace for sure. That was a video from my regular Monday night Q&A session with the members of the Aussie Online entrepreneurs. We're a community of over 2,500 e-commerce entrepreneurs right here in Australia. We're the fastest growing community here in Australia as well, with sales of over $50 million online. If you'd like to find out more about what we do, and of course come and join us, get yourself off to www.aussieonlineentrepreneurs.com.au, follow the link below, and I'll see you on the inside. Till then,